Welcome to the Time Management Podcast with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm a productivity coach, global speaker, time management author, and award-winning entrepreneur on a mission to share the 888 formula with the world and to remind you that it's your time. Leave it to me to bring you new time management tips, tricks, tools, and strategies, to introduce you to guests, research, and case studies from around the world, and to give you a simple 5-step process you can follow to uplevel your productivity, achieve your goals, and create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. I'm so excited that you're here, so let's get started. Welcome to the show. It's you and me, and today I am so excited that we get to talk about resetting your success story. This is part 1 of 2, and today we are focusing on the concept of reviewing, because how will you get to where you're going if you don't review where you've been? And not to lament over the mistakes, but because self-awareness is what will set you free. This week on the podcast, I am sharing 6 questions that you can ask yourself as we close the book on 2024 so that you can start the new year with a clean slate. This episode is for you if you do not know where your time went this year. It's also for you if you're struggling to identify what you've achieved. And it's definitely for you if you are ready to wipe that slate clean and get set for a new year. Over the last 63 episodes, we've covered a lot, and I've noticed a few common threads. The most common being that perspective changes our reality, that mindset dictates our results, and that labels are limiting. We had a series of 3 episodes where we were looking at, is it a trauma response? Episode 37, is procrastination a trauma response? Episode 44, is people-pleasing a trauma response? Episode 46, is imposter syndrome a trauma response? I didn't title these episodes in this way because I was being lazy. I titled them in this way because I feel that the question we have to all ask ourselves is, how is our past shaping our today? If we're procrastinating, what are the reasons for it? If we have imposter syndrome, what are the reasons for it? If we find ourselves people-pleasing, what are the reasons for it? When we start to understand where our habits, where our actions, where our beliefs are coming from, those drivers, that self-awareness is what will set us free. And it sets us free so incredibly quickly. But we need to be able to spot the patterns in order to do that. And one of the simplest, fastest, easiest ways to spot the patterns is to look at what you are spotting in other people, because it's so obvious to you what they could be doing differently, and perhaps they're giving you a lesson. Perhaps they're just a mirror showing you what you can't actually see in yourself, but it's easier for you to see it in others. This is one of the things that I have discovered over the years, that I find this for myself, I find this for my clients, and I find this for lots of people I speak to. If you take the example of something that you see on the outside and ask yourself the first question, what could I learn from this about myself, my life, my career, my business, my process? How could I implement that myself? Because sometimes the messages and things that we're being shown aren't always for us to give to others. They're for us to learn for ourselves first. In episode 33 of the podcast, we talked about, are your thoughts sabotaging your time management? In that episode, I gave you a challenge, a homework, which was to track your thoughts for 24 hours. This is so pivotal to the conversation that we're having today. The more you can start to notice what you're doing and understand with compassion where it comes from, the quicker, faster you are going to be able to change your results, change your experience, and start having the success that is waiting for you. In episode 41, we talked about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset and the impact that this has on your productivity. The things that we are thinking, the hurdles we are putting in place are stopping us. One of the things you will hear me talk about on episode after episode and ask guests for their thoughts on is a sentence of, I know that. Another sentence, I've done that. Another sentence, I've read that. Another sentence, I've taken a training like that. Our lives do not change by the information we have. Our lives do not change by the books we have read. Our lives only change when we do something with the information, which is why episode 15, Where's All My Time Going? When you track your time, you will start to see very quickly, very clearly, very obviously in the data what's actually going on. And it was episode 31 with my guest Caroline Milne, where she told us she actually believed she was quite good at time management and she was still able to find an extra hour and 15 minutes every single day. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like we could all benefit from an extra hour and 15 minutes every single day, whether that be for us to catch up on sleep, actually attend that workout class, go on that date, spend time with our families, read a book, whatever it is, that extra time is going to be life-changing. And she found it from tracking her time. So you will find the answers by analyzing what it is you're doing, what it is you're saying, what it is you're thinking. If you want a shortcut, this is a shortcut. It's quite unlikely that I'm going to say something that you've not heard before, that you've not read before, that you've not learned from a training before. It's not the information that will change things. It is the application. You can't change what you don't track. In episode 69 of the podcast, we were talking about how you can reset your productivity story. Today, we're talking about how you can reset your success story. It is the same process. Simple will make changes. And one of the other things that I've noticed from looking at the successful mentors that I have, the ones who have actually got the success, made the money, achieved all of the things that they wanted, are the ones who stopped learning more things, questioning whether they were worthy, asking whether it was the right time. They just dived into the water, not knowing how warm, cold, deep, shallow it actually was. They just dived in. They didn't even know if they could swim, and they figured it out. And this is what will happen when you do the same. Let's dive into these 6 questions that you can ask yourself as we are closing the book on 2024. Question number 1. What goals did you have for 2024? Did you even set goals? Can you even remember what they were? Where did you write them down? Question number 2. Why did you want to achieve them? What did you want to happen because of the goals that you set? What things in your life did you want to change by setting these goals? Question number 3. What actually happened this year? How did it affect what you could or couldn't do? Perhaps something came up that you were not expecting. Perhaps things this year went incredibly well. What actually happened? Question number 4. What goals didn't you achieve? What things did you set and they just didn't work out? Write them down. Question number 5. What would you have done differently knowing what you know now? This is not a blame game. This is not a shame game. This is not a shoulda, woulda, coulda. This is very basic. What would you do differently knowing what you know now? How can you learn? How can you evolve? How can you improve the process based on what happened? And it might be set goals. It might be set less goals. It might be get better motivation. It might be get better clarity on what those goals are. And then question number 6, what goals do you have for 2025? Write them down. What's motivating you to achieve those goals? Write that down. If you would like to have access to all of these questions in a free download, the link is in the show notes. Look for the free 2024 review and get writing, get reviewing, get cleaning that slate so that you can go into 2025 with a fresh new energy. Because what we're going to be doing in 2025 is launching a brand new group program called Reset Your Success Story in 2025. I'm so excited that we're going to get to hang out in this training online, and it is going to be a combination of manifestation meets goal setting meets strategy, with workshops online and with self-study and with group accountability. I cannot wait to tell you more about that soon. One extra thing to add, when you download that free 2024 review from the link in the show notes, you will also a few days after be receiving a free audio visualization exercise to help you to think about those 2025 goals, to visualize them, and it's going to be me talking you through it. I cannot wait to share that with you either. As we're wrapping up this episode, the Magic Time live round, a program combining quantum physics with productivity, has wrapped up. That was so exciting to go through that training with the first cohort live and online. If you want more details about how to access that training on demand, then that will be coming soon. And in episode 24 of the podcast, we had a human design expert come on the show to tell us more about human design, what impact it is having on your time management. And human design can help us to understand the most efficient way for us to work, to make decisions, and to respond to opportunities. There's so much more that it can do, but these 3 things can be such a time saver once you know more about your design, more about your strategy, more about your authority. And in episode 24, Lauren gave us the opportunity to take a free test. The link for that will be in the show notes of that episode. And incidentally, we have a part 2 with Lauren coming back on the show for the next installment. So make sure you're following the podcast to get notified that episode is coming out soon. And to summarize the homework for this episode, number 1, your 2024 in review, click the link in the show notes to download that and get wiping the slate clean to be ready to reset your success story in 2025. Number 2, audit your time. If you haven't already, there's a link that explains exactly how to do it, including how to download either a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet to help you to track. And then number 3, if you want to know more about human design and would like to book an introduction to your human design one-to-one session with me, then there is a link for that in the show notes also. And if you grab it now, you will be able to get it at the 2024 price, even if we are booking your session in 2025. So buy it now, lock in that 2024 price. It has been so amazing to hang out with you today and have this conversation about how you can reset your success story. As I said, this is part 1 to a part 2. So this is about reviewing in order to be able to proceed. We need to know what's happened, where we've been, in order to be able to go forward. And whenever you're listening to this episode, use this as the opportunity to draw a line in the sand, whether you see January as the new year, February as the new year. You can do whatever you want. It is entirely up to you. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, And remember, it is your time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to let me know by leaving a review so I can keep the good stuff coming. Come and say hi on Instagram at Success by Design Training, or visit my website successbydesigntraining.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Abigail Barnes. Until next time, don't forget, you are amazing and it's your time.